and you're happy and it's halfway through the day, it's probably because you had enough energy from coffee or other sources to get there. But that's not what this rant's about. It's about the basic fundamentals that our David and my generation grew up with, which was morals and values and the Judeo-Christian template in the public and in the private school system, whether it being the national anthem, whether it being the Pledge of Allegiance, whether it's being the flag in every classroom, form of nationalism, pride, acceptance of religion by understanding religion, courses like humanities, where people from all walks of life were forced to learn about all the key religions. Welcome, guys, to the Rant Network. My name's Stuart Brisgell. I'm the co-host. David's running this one today. This is a podcast dedicated on giving opinions, thoughts, and ideas. It's an open dialogue, and it's an outlet to voice and exchange experiences from every corner of life. As we dive into this current heart of events, pop culture, politics, and quirks of existence are other topics we cover here at the Rant Network. Get comfortable and join us every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern for another unedited, unfiltered debate. David, like I started off, you have people today wanting to drive parenthood out of the classroom, out of the schools. They want to drive religion out of the schools. They want to drive everything out of the system, making it almost identical to a communist system where there's one religion, one parent, one overlord, and everyone sort of has their own needle. Like Whoopi Goldberg, you brought up, decided to get on a rant because in Louisiana, they want to put the 10 Commandments up. And, when, everyone sort of has their little angle. And what these massive detractors are doing is they're needling people like Whoopi with low IQs and low moral fortitudes to push parts of the agenda to try and slink the needle and water level above the head, only to drown the concepts that created the Western world. David,
Stuart, this is the typical move from the left. I mean, let's not be stupid and let's not be ignorant here. This is the left wanting to once again push their agenda. Let's take a look at what's been going on, folks, for the last, year or so, years. Immorality. What is fundamentally lost? The cohesive family. They're saying, no need. We shouldn't bother with the family. We shouldn't bother with American values. American values are bad. Bad. But the basis of American, Canadian, Western values, let's call it, was, for all intents and purposes, like you said, Judeo-Christian law. And its basis came from the 10 Commandments. And now Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry wants a poster in every public classroom in readable font of the 10 Commandments. Guess what? The ACLU, the American Civil Liberties Union, they're already up in arms. We got to hear it. Everybody on the left is saying this is terrible, horrible. Because what are the first four commandments, Stuart? About God. But you know what is interesting? I'm sorry, it was the first three commandments are about God. Pardon me. The fourth commandment is about the Sabbath. The fifth commandment is honor thy mother and thy father. The commandments on the other side include thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not kill. These are fundamental.
Well, number 3 is thou shalt not take the name of the Lord.
Yeah. The first three are about, directly about recognizing God, your relationship with
Remember
God.
the Sabbath is for, right? Honor thy father,
Yeah,
mother. Thou
okay.
shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Wait a second. If it's a Democrat, thou shalt not steal. I mean, come on. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not covet. Right.
So
Those are
so we know now that Stuart the rabbi has entered the room and given you the 10 Commandments. The reality is that if you listen to the essence of this, okay, and again, it's shoving the Lord down our throats. No, it's like no one is telling you you must believe in God, but read starting from number 4 through number 10, and you're like, okay, maybe I'm not going to keep the Sabbath. That's up to you, folks. Okay, but honor thy mother and thy father, a fundamental right, otherwise known as respect people. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a bad thing. Thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. So, when you brought up the View and Whoopi and Joy Behar and the rest of the ignorance on the View, and the reason I bring them up is only because ABC loves to prop them up. This is their news that they're providing you. This is now the new form of trying to educate Americans. And you have these 5 ladies on a panel. They bring out people like, we had Robert De Niro, and you've had now Fauci out there and all that kind of stuff. Whatever you could do to try and to dump on the right. If this was a Democratic governor doing this, they wouldn't be freaking out nearly as much. It's a Republican, therefore it must be bad. But of course, Joy Behar says, post this in Mar-a-Lago. Get a picture of Stormy Daniels right next to it. It's all about let's crap on Trump. What the left once again irritates me. Okay, and by the way, one little addendum to this, of course, Whoopi says, well, why don't you put up the Quran in the classroom? What a great idea. What a great idea. And this is my problem with the left, is you don't want to expose the truth. You don't want to educate your children today of the truth. And the truth is we don't understand each other. If I go into right now into the streets of the United States and tell me what are the fundamental basis of the Hindu religion, Buddhism, Islam, you're not going to get an answer.
Nope.
And that's the reality. And so why not teach religion properly in the classroom? But the United States of America, Canada, England, France, many other Western nations, the basis of law came from the 10 Commandments. The harm of putting that up in the classroom escapes me, but I know to the left, if the moment you take religion and this is religion, this is religion. You're shoving it down people's throats. You're trying to indoctrinate people. How funny! Because the best comment I heard was Whoopi, and I got to find this quote because this and Stuart, I promise you, I'll leave you to run with this. She's basically saying, oh, here it is: get out of my pocket, get out of my body, and get out of my school. Where were you in 2020, 21 in COVID when you said, get into my pocket, get into my body, and get into my school? I love that.
But what's really, really bizarre, and Whoopi seems to just characterize every anomaly. A comedian who was known in the 80s as a bagel chaser, David. And that's exactly what the term from Hollywood gave her, because she loved dating Jewish boys. She was they called her a bagel chaser. And if you don't think that's not derogatory, you're wrong. It is. But Whoopi is now a political expert.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Her education, her political science background. I mean, she is the poster child for the Democratic brain vault, which is what drives me nuts. Because you know what? I am not the smartest political scientist in the world. In fact, they may have done 1 or 2 classes in poli-sci because they were required, just like I was required to do humanities. And I had to memorize Martin King's speech. I had to learn about Gandhi. I had to learn about Mother Teresa. We had to learn about history and religion.
No, but
the Democratic Party wants to remove humanities from not only the classroom, but from the country.
Dude, this is not about learning. This, according to these uber geniuses that I love to call them, it's about indoctrination. They don't like the fact that the Republicans, who are a little bit more Bible thumping than the left, who believe in religion, who believe in God, but also believe in law, values, the family. Not that we're sitting, I know people are going to say, oh, you see, again, they're anti-abortion, they're anti-gay. No, that's not it. Stop doing that, okay? What the Ten Commandments is a base of law, of values. And if you don't like the values, the beautiful thing about America is you could choose not to do so. You could choose not to follow God. Nobody's saying to you, you have to go to church. No one's dragging you by the head and bringing you to a temple or a mosque. Or
Conversely, let's talk about the people in the Middle East. Just want to throw this in there. Where if a woman doesn't follow certain things, she is stoned, beaten, and possibly even killed. But wait a minute, Whoopi, the brainchild of the Democratic Party, a very big, important person on The View, has absolutely no thought and forward thinking.
Well,
she is a narrow-minded, closed-closet.
She doesn't care about women in the Middle East. We know that. We know that. What she cares about is not getting Donald Trump elected. Every show of The View is about making sure that Donald Trump doesn't get elected. And this is just one more example of it, because why not promote the notion of family? We're not talking about heteronormal families. I'm not saying you have to have a mother and a father, but the notion of the entity of the family, that Sunny Hostin, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, Sarah Gaines, all that crowd there, they're against it. And it's fascinating that you understand that you and I grew up with certain values that we're being told today is wrong. It's wrong. Okay. Yeah. And I don't know about you people, but why not? Why are you telling me what I do and how I practice? I have freedom of religion. I'm supposed to have freedom of speech. They're more than happy to, listen, you want to have a TV show? Good for you. But the same way you have a right to go out and spew your angle, your cockeyed views, I have every right to tell you I disagree with you. And there are people like Ben Shapiro, who is a religious Jew, who's standing up today and going, why not? And bring in the Quran into the classroom, and bring in Hindu, scrolls, and bring in Buddhist. We need it back in the classroom, because by taking it out, look at the ignorance we've created in society today. We've got a bunch of people today who don't know anything other than what they read on TikTok or what they see on TikTok. And if that's what you want your children's education to be, keep them home. Like I don't get it. But, there are other states that want to do it. They're being threatened by lawsuits because the left simply doesn't want to bring back real values. What they want to do is to create this anarchy. This anarchy is something that propels the Democratic Party, that propels the left. They love this. They do not believe in a wholesome family value. They do not believe that people should be practicing any religion. Okay, we've seen what's been going on out there. But what they want is, you said at the beginning of the rant, communism. They're not going to call it communism. They're going to call it the right way of doing things, which is control messaging, control the people from the left. When in COVID, it was okay to tell people how to act, how far to stand behind people. My body, my choice was called wrong. Okay? But then the moment you talk about the Ten Commandments, they're arguing right now that Christians are saying that thou shalt not kill and abortion are linked, and they're like, no, you can't bring that in the classroom. That means you can't. There's cockeyed thinking. People are allowed to express their feelings. They're saying it's wrong and they should be silenced. I disagree. If Governor Landry wants to put posters like that in the classroom to remind everybody that this is what American values are based on, you don't like it, leave. Leave.
David, and that is a wrap for today's episode. A huge thank you for lending us your ears, your eyes, and especially your time. The Rant Network is here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. It's been a real pleasure sharing these thoughts and this discussion with you. Your support means the world to us, and we're excited to welcome you back next time. Stay connected with us on social media, on our website. that, again, I'm going to say David built out. It's got all fancy pictures and scrolls and does, and has an archive of over 3.5 years of these 15-minute podcasts. Thank you again for joining us. Until next time, keep the rant conversation going, private messages coming. Thanks a lot. David, last word.